The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Listen, guys, it's been a little bit of time since I went live, but I'm live again. And listen, it's Inoue Fight Week. I'm juiced. I'm the number one source for Japanese boxing in America, right? So, this is a big deal to me because we were just in Japan back in January for the Inoue fight. I was the only American there. That was a couple months ago. Now I'm here in the States in a venue where I've covered a lot of fights. I've covered like Canelo fights at the MGM. I've covered Tank fights at the MGM. But this one has a bit of a different meaning to me because I've been covering Inoue on this channel since 2016. I think if I do the numbers, I've made about 500 videos or more about Inoue over the last 10 years. He's probably the second or third most covered fighter. He might even be the most covered fighter in the history of the channel. So this is special. And right now it's quiet. Like right now I'm in the MGM Grand Media Room, and I've been in here many times, but it's set up a little differently. Like the seats don't extend out as far, so I'm not sure what the media turnout's going to be because if you look at the media area, they don't normally have it like this. Like normally in that corner, there's never any seats. Normally the seats extend out that way, but they got it set up a little differently. So I guess the Japanese are doing things a bit differently. But look, I'm here early. I'm here early. As you guys can see, there's no media members here. It's only your boy BT. It's only the number one source of Japanese boxing in the house. So I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best this week to give you guys a feel for what fight week is like out here. I mean, look, we'll go over here. Look at the fight posters and whatnot. So I would assume that Inoue is going to be somewhere over there for the press conference tomorrow. Today is actually the grand arrival, and today is in fact it's the media workout too. So I'll have content for both those things, and that'll be a lot of cool. But oh yeah, it's mine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good to see you, by the way. Yeah, yeah. But what I was saying, guys, is yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of content. But while we're here, and while I got time to kill, because I'm gonna probably be on here for like an hour or so. Y'all give me your questions. Y'all got any questions? Y'all got any thoughts? Y'all got any concerns? You feel free to drop them because that's what we're here to do. We're here to cover boxing. I want to take this time too before I start getting to the comments. I want to take this time too to thank everyone over the years that supported the Inoue content because I was covering them when wasn't a whole lot of people on YouTube talking about them. You know, even through the two Japan trips. Thank you guys for that. I'm not here without the support of the boxing fans, and I understand that, so I don't take this for granted at all. But should be a good fight week. I know like respect to that gentleman right over there, Cardenas on the poster, but the odds are the odds for a reason. He's probably I don't want to write the guy off, but more than likely he's not going to win. But they fight the fights for a reason, so we'll see. Crazier things have happened in the sport of boxing, so I wish that brother nothing but the best. I'd love to talk to Ramon Cardenas myself because I respect every fighter's journey. And then you got the monster. That's obviously what I'm here for. That's why I'm here at the fights. And then we got here, let's go over here. Let's go over here. Shout out to everybody here. Make sure you smash that like button, super chat. Look, I dropped my phone. See that? I'm getting a little too excited here. Getting a little too excited here on True School Sports. Hold on, you here? It's locked. You here? Okay, there you go. All right, all right. I got my phone tangled in the headphone. So yeah, look, what I was gonna show you guys is look, we got this fight here too, right? And a lot of people are excited about this fight. Rafael Espinoza, top fighter, WBO champion, featherweight. Some people would regard him as the best featherweight in the world. I don't agree with that, but he's a very good fighter. He's got Edward Vasquez, a guy that's challenged fighters at 130 for titles and came up short, but always a tough out, always a tough fighter for people. So that'll be a good fight. And then I know you also got Mikita Nakano, who's ranked in the IBF. He's a featherweight as well. There's a lot of decent fighters, good fighters on this card. So listen, man, I wanna talk to you guys for a second. Let me go sit down, and then if anybody arrives, if there's anybody that arrives that I wind up talking to or that comes up to me, they'll be on the stream. So, right now we're early. That's why we're True School Sports. We the first one in, and we're normally the last one out. Work ethic on 100,000. So let's put that shit right here. And by the way, somebody said I need a gimbal, I need a tripod. I freaking lost my tripod the other day, or I left it in one of the gyms. I went to go to this one gym, and I was there with a fighter, and I was interviewing him, and I just left it. So that's why I'm doing the whole thing with my hand. I had to go get my tripod to the gym. Let me see who we got here. Who we got? We got my man Edward. He says Inoue is going to catch a body. I'm not going to entertain that. History Vault says, yo, what's good, History? Good to see you. Is Junto in the house? Funny enough, right, I actually, I saw that Junto Nakatani was in L.A., right? I heard that I saw that he was in L.A., so I contacted some of my people out there, and I asked, I said, hey, is Junto going to be at the fight? And I was told that Junto will not be coming to the fight. He's going to focus on his camp. He's got his big fight with Ryosuke Nishida coming up, unification fight. And it's a fight that I think he needs because that's going to be a tough one for him. Nishida's a crafty fighter, does a lot of things well. Yeah, I like that fight. But yeah, I've been told that he won't be here, but it's possible things can change. Maybe he'll get excited and come last minute, but that's what I've been told. In a way, MJ just got officially signed. If I'm Cardenas, I'm not happy about that. I wouldn't be either. I mean, if I'm looking at the Cardenas perspective of things, because I know, and I want to address this. I want to address this because I don't have time to be responding to 10, 15, 20 comments. So I'm going to address it right here. And if you see it live or you see it on the playback, then you can respond to it how you see fit. But I made a video, right, because an article came out where the way it was transcribed was that Inoue said that basically Ramon Cardenas is an easy fight for him, or it's easy for him to adjust to him, and that he will be able to, he's outgunned in every department. That's what he said. And all I did was just read the quote. I read it 5 times verbatim, and I even dropped the article, right? And then, of course, a lot of the Japanese people were like, well, BT, you're putting words in Inoue's mouth. I didn't say that. I read what the article said, and I unpacked what I thought that meant. So I wasn't trying to put words in his mouth, but either way you cut it up, slice it, and dice it. Look, if you look at the betting odds, Inoue, or Cardenas, I should say, Cardenas is a bigger underdog in this fight than William Skoll is in the Canelo fight, which I think is unfair. Personally, I think William Skoll is like the weakest world champion in boxing. Respect to him, but I think that's a bigger mismatch than this one. I think this is actually a slightly more competitive fight than that one. But that's just me. If I was Cardenas, I would be pissed. I'd be pissed off for greatness to knock this guy out, only because it's like, bro, you got to fight me. What you doing talking about MJ? What you doing talking about Junto and these kind of guys? I would absolutely positively be mad and use that as inspiration and fuel to fight the fight of my life, because that's what it's going to take. For Ramon Cardenas, it's going to take nothing short of the fight of his life for him to, beat Inoue and shock the world and become a star overnight. Because look, if I don't think he'll win, but if he did win the fight, all of a sudden he would be the undisputed super bantamweight champion, and he'd be a star overnight. He'd be Mexican American undisputed champion. So that's how crazy things can get in boxing. But we'll see how it goes. Who else we got here? Respect to you for the Japan coverage. Miles better. I don't want to talk about other channels. I don't talk about other channels on here. I focus on True School. BT focuses on BT. But thank you for the positive words. Ask Takuma when he's coming back. That's a good question. I probably will ask Takuma something, because I know everybody here is going to be flocking on Inoue whenever he walks to this media room. Takuma, I remember when I was in Japan, nobody was talking to Takuma, so I'll go talk to him. I'll try to. Ramirez versus Haney prediction. You think Haney has the ability to look for to get a knockout? It's been 5 years. It wouldn't shock me, because Ramirez has been in a lot of wars, but it's just hard to really. It's hard to quantify what Devin Haney is right now. It's hard to figure out what exactly is Devin Haney. Who is Devin Haney? We'll find out. Conventional wisdom says decision, but Ramirez is shop one, so it wouldn't shock me, not one bit, not one iota, and yeah. Let me see who else we got here. Good to see everybody here. Good to see that people getting a good response to the live. Hey BT, I hope you're doing great, champ. I believe you are, since it's a great time in boxing. Thank you, man. I'm doing my best. All I can do is do my best, and that's what I'm doing. Did I see that Nishida flew Elijah Pierce out for sparring? No, I didn't see that. That's news to me, and that's interesting. And I know Elijah, so I haven't talked to Elijah in a while, but I could talk to Elijah about that. Funny enough, right? Because in boxing right now, we're seeing a lot of fighters have to go to Japan for fights. Like Brian Norman is going to fight Jin Sasaki on June 19th. My good buddy Angelo Leo was going to Japan to fight Kameda on May 24th. Now you got, funny. You know what? I'll tell you guys. I'll drop this piece of information on you guys. I won't get too deep into it, but I was making some phone calls to Japan recently, right? Some of my people in Japan, and someone was asking me to set up sparring for someone in Japan, a prominent fighter who's doing a prominent fight right now, and I gave him a couple names, so we'll see how that goes. I'll tell you guys more about it later on if it goes through, but it's pretty interesting stuff that I'm in the middle of right now. But I'm not just the guy on YouTube. Anyway, let's see what Kyoto in the building. Hey BT, what's up? What's up, Kyoto? My man says Inoue. Brandon D. Hooker, shout out to Brandon, longtime viewer. He says, what's good, BT? I'm tuning in from work, hearing out your thoughts on this. Yeah, I mean, and y'all feel free to ask me about all the other fights going on, because I know it's a jam-packed fight week. It's not here in Vegas. You got the Times Square card. You got the card in Saudi. So if y'all want to know about those, y'all feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to respond and give y'all the large picture on that. But let me see. Danny Lay says, I'm always happy to see you covering Inoue, man. I love you. Thank you, man, and I appreciate it. And I hope, look, man, I'm going to show you guys something. Look, I wasn't even going to tell you guys about this, but look, so you guys know here on True School, it's been a tough journey trying to get an Inoue interview, and I'm not expecting to get an Inoue interview even now with him being in America, but I expect there to be at least an interaction, something that will happen on camera, right? Which is good enough for me. Like, I don't need to do a sit-down interview with him if he don't want to, or if I can't do it. It is what it is. But look, I brought him a gift. I brought Inoue a gift. I'm gonna show you guys what I brought Inoue today. Maybe if I give this to him, he'll be more receptive to talk to me, right? Because I know once he gets in here, the whole media is gonna swarm him. But look, I brought Inoue this magazine that I got. This old magazine. This magazine from what year is this? This is from July of 2013, and I got this when I was in Japan the first time. Somebody gave it to me, or I got it at a gym because one of the gyms had a bunch of old Japanese boxing magazines. So I'm gonna give this to him and hope that maybe he stops and talks to me, because I don't want to. You guys know, if you follow the channel, you know what it was like when I went to Japan. It was difficult. He's like a rock star out there. He's like the president. Tarzan says that I should get him to sign it. I don't want to come off as like a fanboy. I just brought it for him because I want him to get him to stop to talk to me. Because every time I've gone to Ohashi Gym, it's been difficult. I would anticipate that here in America it would be just a little bit more relaxed because he's not, in his home country where he's a superstar and these kind of things. And maybe if he stops and talks to me, I can tell him, hey, I've been covering Japanese boxing for almost 10 years, and a lot of Americans know who you are because of the videos on this channel. Not in an arrogant way, but I respect him. I respect the guy. He's a great fighter, and I would like to get my time to sit down with him. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I don't want to come off as a fanboy? I don't like asking. I've only ever asked 2 fighters for their autograph ever. 3 fighters actually. 3 fighters. Kenshiro and Kosai Tanaka when I went to Japan the first time. But what's crazy, when Kenshiro and Kosai Tanaka signed my magazines back then, in 2023, I had them framed, right? And then when I moved to Vegas, I put everything in storage back in Florida, and then there was a big flood in Florida, so all my Kenshiro and Kosai Tanaka signed magazines, they got destroyed, right? And so I don't even have that anymore. But the only signed boxing memorabilia, the only fighter who I asked to sign anything that I still have, is Angelo Leo. Angelo Leo signed a picture of the Venado Lopez fight for me, and he said to my good friend BT and the new, because I was part of training camp, so I have that at my house. But other than that, I don't have anything autographs. BT, autograph it before you give it to Inoue. That would be hilarious. That would be funny. I'm not gonna do that though. I wanna if I was gonna do that, I just want his. Shout out to my guy right here with the $9 or the $10 super chat. He says, "Grab a cup of coffee and thanks for the coverage. Do you know if there will be any in a way merch stand? If so, what is location? I will be there to catch the fight." So I just got here. I'm in the media room, which is in the MGM Grand, and the fight's not at the MGM Grand. The fight's across the street or like right up the street at the T-Mobile Arena. And I know I don't know if there's a merch stand, but what I can tell you is I've seen Top Rank on their Twitter pushing the Inoue merch. So normally, from what I know from the past, when you see promotional companies pushing out the merch for a fighter, they normally have it at the fights. So I think I think they will. Inoue is pretty good about merch. When I went to the fight in Japan, he had a whole truckload of merch, and I think with him being in America, wanting to build on his American fan base, he's gonna have a bunch of merch here, and he's very good about that. I know, like on Twitter, he's talked about how he has different designs and things like that. So yeah. My man Dai Li Yang says, is he aware of your coverage of Japanese boxing? In a way, I don't know. I actually have no idea what he's aware of or what he isn't aware of. I mean, we haven't really had a chance to interact because, like I said, he's very guarded in Japan. This is a bit. I would anticipate that this is a bit different. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what he knows. I know people from Ohashi Promotions know who I am because I've been there and I've talked to people from there. I know people from Tekken know who I am because I've talked to Mr. Honda, but I don't know what he knows, right? So I hope he knows who I am, and I hope that the interaction goes well. And I would like to just talk to him for a couple minutes. I don't even care if it's two, just a couple something, because you guys know it's been a long road. Can we still get tickets? Is it worth it? From what I've gathered, yes, there's still some tickets available. I'm very curious to see what kind of crowd there is because I've heard conflicting things. I've heard that the tickets are selling extremely well, then I've heard they're not selling that well at all. So we'll see. The truth's normally somewhere in the middle, but I would say go for it, man. I mean, look, I've been very adamant, and a lot of the Inoue fans don't like when I say this, but I think I think Inoue is still in his prime, but I think he's towards the tail end of his prime. I think his prime will probably be for the last parts of his prime will be these next 2 to 3 fights. So I would definitely say, come see him, man. He's a great fighter, and you got, like I said, you got Rafael Espinoza on the undercard. A lot of people like him, and he's a fun action fighter. Mikita Nakano, if you get here real early, watch out for Mikita Nakano. Mikita Nakano is really entertaining fighter, southpaw power puncher. That's probably like the one of the other fighters I'm really excited to see on the undercard. Just because, I'm a big fan of the featherweight division. He's ranked in the IBF. He might be an Angelo opponent, so I'm already like thinking about how we're gonna beat him if that time comes. But yeah. Afro Jam, what's good, man? See, I told you, Afro. I told you there would be a live. You got me live. Look, I'm in the media room. I'm first. I'm the only one here. I'm the only one here. Everyone else is probably either at the house or they're in New York, in Times Square. So I'm here. I mean, I'm not sure what time it is. I want to try to make this lab's gonna be about an hour and a half maybe, tops, because then I'm gonna charge my phone and get in that mode for the grand arrivals. But yeah, man, good to be here. Good to see you. Shout out to Pops. Pops says, "How about those Panthers?" Yes. Shout out to the Florida Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champions. They're out of the first round now, so only 12 more wins until we're the back-to-back champs. So I'm excited about that. They eliminated the Lightning yesterday, so good stuff there. The Falling Star, another loyal Japanese viewer, my guy. He says, Inoue's main desire in the USA for a venue is Madison Square Garden. Do you think next year he'll be able to fill MSG by himself? No, I don't think he'll fill it by himself, because I think if he fights at MSG, he's gonna fight Bruce Carrington. That'll be a Bruce Carrington fight, maybe. I don't think it would make the most sense if he fought Bruce Carrington at Madison Square Garden, because I've been to Bruce Carrington fights in New York, and I know he can sell tickets in New York, and he's a talker. He's very marketable. He's very good at the promotional side of boxing. That's why I think he's so relevant. That's one of the main reasons why I think he's relevant, because he's probably a better self-marketer than a lot of fighters in his weight class. So I wouldn't say by himself, but I think, with the right opponent, he could sell out MSG. I'm intrigued, man. I'm intrigued to see what the turnout is for this fight because, I think it would have been bigger if there wasn't like if Canelo wasn't fighting in Saudi and if they didn't have the Times Square card because there's going to be between all the boxing fans and even the boxing media, everything's going to be a little fragmented because you're going to have some of the boxing fans and boxing media in New York. You're going to have some of the boxing fans and boxing media in here in Vegas. You're going to have some of the boxing fans and media in going to Saudi. So I'm intrigued by it all. Mountain Man said, I respect the dedication. Thank you, man. I try my best. BT, what's the closest fight this weekend that people are overlooking? That's a good question. That they're overlooking. I mean, I don't think anybody's overlooking anything on the Times Square card. That's been the most like hyped up card of the whole week. If I gotta name one now, personally, look, I don't think I don't think this guy is gonna win, and I don't think there will be an upset. But if there was a fight that people are overlooking, because you use the word overlook, it's this fight across my left shoulder is the Espinoza-Edward Vasquez fight. There's so many big names fighting in boxing this week that Espinoza is not really getting a whole lot of coverage. In fact, just so you guys know, on Friday, I'm going to have Rafael Espinoza on the channel because I talked to his manager and I got confirmation. There will be an Espinoza interview here on True School Sports on Friday. And the other day, I interviewed Angelo Leo, so that'll be out soon. And yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out here on True School Sports. But I would say Espinoza versus Vasquez is a good fight. And I'll say I feel like they're using Espinoza to try, or as Vasquez, I should say, for Espinoza to try to, build Espinoza up for an Inoue fight. Ask him about Leo Espinoza. Yeah, I will. Who knows, man? Maybe Angelo will show up. Who knows? Who knows what could happen? We never know what could happen. But I think Vasquez is a high volume puncher, right? And my only thing with Vasquez, right, because he's coming down in weight. So if Espinoza, or if Vasquez, I should say, if he's hydrated properly and he's his normal self at featherweight, then I think it'll be a good fight. But I don't think he'll be hydrated, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll be stronger. Maybe he'll be a killer at featherweight. Maybe he'll be the next great featherweight. Who the hell knows? But if he's his normal self, I think he has the volume and the experience and the know-how to give Espinoza a really tough fight. I think Espinoza, really and truthfully, I think Espinoza, he's tall. He's really tall. He probably shouldn't even be a featherweight, right? But he makes the weight. He kills himself to get to the weight. He could become weight trained any fight. You never know what's gonna happen with him. So he's probably one of the main guys I'm watching. I keep my eyes on this weekend because he's one of the top fighters in the world. What do you think about Teofimo Lopez and the way he promotes fights? Teofimo Lopez promotes fights in a way that's unique to him, and good for him. I know sometimes he says off the wall things. I know he got into a lot of trouble with the banana stuff, but outside of that, which I don't agree with, but outside of that, like yesterday he had the luchador mask, the Mexican wrestling mask. I thought that was pretty cool. What are my thoughts on Jorge Perez versus Xander Zayas? I think Xander Zayas, I got to give a big round of applause to Peter Khan. Peter Khan is one of the best managers in boxing, and he has played Xander Zayas' career perfectly because Xander's gonna win that fight. Jorge Perez is a good fighter, and respect to him for upsetting Charles Conwell. A lot of people didn't think that was going to happen, and it happened. So credit to him. But Xander's a more consistent fighter than Conwell, and he's got a little more dimensions to him. Conwell is a more front foot dominant guy. I think Xander's got more with him. But listen, one thing we know about boxing, you can't underestimate hungry, young Mexican contenders. So listen, it'll be a good fight, Mexico-Puerto Rico, but I think Xander should get it done. Puerto Rican fighter, but he still is from South Florida, so I want to see him bring the title home to South Florida. Featherweight is known for shifting champions frequently. Yeah, man, and I'm gonna be optimistic and say that's not gonna happen. I believe in Angelo Leo, man. In fact, I just seen Angelo spar the other day. He looked. I'll tell you right now, man. I ain't gonna say too much, but man, Tomohiro Kameda. I hope Kameda don't pull out the fight. Don't pull out the fight because it is gonna be something so ridiculously vicious. Oh my God, he's doing shit. I've been around him for years. He was doing shit that I never seen him do before. It was crazy. But nah, I mean featherweight. There's always good fighters. I think it's competitive. It's hard to stay on top in this weight class for a long period of time because there's so much talent. There's so much styles. There's so much to overcome at featherweight. It was a bad idea for Top Rank to book the Inoue during the NHL playoffs post WrestleMania. The folks in Vegas don't have infinite pockets. Yeah, listen, this is really the way I look at it, the way I view this event, not the fight, but the event. The way I view it is that Canelo normally has this date booked, right? And he's not here in Vegas. He decided to go to Saudi and explore different frontiers as far as being a fighter and making money and promoting himself, right? So fair play to him. But they want to get a good gauge on what Inoue's star power is. They know he's a star in Japan, but is there a market for him in the States? And we're gonna find out this week. And I'll tell you this: what's been really intriguing to me, being someone that's been coming to Vegas since 2017, been covering Inoue since 2016, been a boxing fan my whole life. At the MGM Grand, when you come to the MGM Grand, they had the big sign, right? And only a handful of fighters have ever been on the MGM Grand. I know Floyd was on the MGM Grand all the time when he was fighting. Canelo was on the MGM Grand plenty of times. Manny Pacquiao probably was on the MGM Grand too, but it's literally like less than it's 5 fighters or less that I've seen in my lifetime that have been on the MGM Grand. So it's kind of crazy for me, as someone who's covered Inoue for so long, to see that him plastered on the MGM Grand. That's crazy to me because I remember Max Kellerman barely just mentioning them in 2016. I remember 2019, even after he beat Donaire, when he beat Donaire in the World Boxing Super Series, I vividly remember in that fight, I was saying that I thought Inoue was the best fighter in the world, and people were like, "No, Canelo, Canelo, Canelo." I'm like, "Nah, man, Inoue, that's the best fighter in the world." And pound for pound, there's so many talented fighters in boxing. It changes all the time. I personally don't even have Inoue number 1 right now. I got a number 2 behind Usyk, but he's got a strong case for number 1. He's been probably, if you're just looking at his championship record, he's the most dominant fighter at the championship level. He's got like 20 plus knockouts in world championship fights. I mean, I can't think of anybody who's really done that. That's pretty impressive. Do you know if Leo's coming out to Vegas or is he too busy with camp? No, Angelo's in Vegas right now. He's in Vegas right now. He lives in Vegas. And his training camp for Kameda is, at least the American part of it is done. It's already done. So I told him I told him to come through. I'd like him to come through. I think it'd be good for him. I think people need to hear from him more. Except apart from hearing him on my channel. I think he should be out there more. But yeah, hopefully he comes through. Guys, please go ahead and show your appreciation for my right hand man. 50 grand, 100 grand, 100 bands. My main man, Sean Zattel. He says in the chat, he says, "What up, BT the Great? I'll see you in a few hours down at the MGM, big dog." Yes, sir. I'll see Sean Zattel. Make sure y'all go run his channel up. Guys, this is the precursor. I told Sean this. Sean's a bit iffy on this, but I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you straight like this. I'm gonna speak it into fruition right now. You don't know what's going to happen on Saturday night, or Sunday night. We expect Inoue to come through, but we don't disrespect Cardenas. He has his dreams, his goals, his ambitions. Who knows what he may shock the world. But if everything goes according to plan, these next couple fights for Inoue, he does fight Junto Nakatani in Japan. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm speaking it to existence right now. Me and Sean Zattel will be in Japan for that fight at the Tokyo Dome, and it's going to be some of the best boxing content ever produced. I'm speaking it into fruition right now. It's MF and BT. Sean here too. Y'all keep up the great work. Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. And if y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, let me know, man. For those of you who are just tuning in, because I know we got more viewers now, this is the view of the media room. Right now, ain't nobody here. It's just me because I'm real excited. I haven't been excited to cover a fight like this in a while. Probably because, I technically did cover the Inoue Yi Jun Kim fight, but that was in Japan, and Japan, there's just it's a different way of life there. It's a different way of interaction. I'm more comfortable. I'm home. I'm in America, so it's just different. It's a lot different, and I think in a way will be a little bit different than what I've experienced in Japan, and that's what I'm praying for, and I'm over the moon about it. So, yeah. Sean says it's the best media room in box history, LOL, at least in my lifetime. Listen. I mean, I've gone to some media rooms. Yeah, I would definitely say it's the best media room for sure. Aside for the Inoue fight, what is the fight you are most excited for this weekend? That's a great question. Let me think. Let me think about that one. I mean, you got Bokoli versus Efe Agjago. That's a good one. I like that fight, the all African heavyweight scrap. Um, I'm not, to be honest with you, like I'm not really too gassed about the Times Square card. Like I know those are all big names, but like none of those fights like really get my juices flowing. If I'm being honest with you, um, I would say I'm really excited about. I would say Efe Agjago versus Bokoli. I like that fight. I think two explosive heavyweight power punchers. It's the only like notable heavyweight fight of the weekend that I know of. And Bokoli has a lot to prove because he came in like looking like Grimace and Jabba the Hutt when he fought Joseph Parker. So he looks like he's in better shape. He better be because Jabba can punch. And when you get two African fighters, you got the Congo versus Nigeria. You're gonna have a lot of pride on the line. You're gonna have a lot of ethnic pride and things like that on the line. So yeah, Munguia Suras, it's interesting. I mean, I don't really care. For those of you who watch me, I don't really care for Munguia and Bruno. I mean, I'm hoping he did it. It's not just a fluke, and maybe he can go in there and put in a good fight or win again. Because then if he just loses, if he loses, then Munguia is just gonna be back at where he was before, and people are gonna forget about Bruno and like just say that it was lucky punch. So hopefully Bruno at least puts up a fight because I don't want him to. I don't want him to be the Milli Vanilli of French boxing and not have just more than that one fight. So let me see. I missed some comments. Let me see. Let me go up, man. We here in the media room just chilling before we have to go ahead and lock in. Mohammed Marwan says, do I think Top Rank promoted this fight for Inoue well? I think they promoted this fight harder than they have a lot of other fights. I mean, like I said a couple minutes ago, there's been only a handful of fighters I've ever seen get their picture plastered on the top of the MGM Grand. And so, mind you, when you come to Vegas, for those of you who have never been to Vegas, when you go to when you come from the McCarran Airport and you go on the Strip, you're gonna pass the MGM Grand. It's almost impossible to come from the McCarran Airport and then get on the main road and drive and not pass the MGM Grand. So everyone is gonna see that damn sign. So that's like great advertising for any fighter that can get up there. So even if people don't know who he is, they're gonna say, "Oh, this guy's not a Black American fighter. He's not Mexican." Because normally up there, we've only seen Black Americans and Mexicans. They're gonna see a Japanese dude, and then they're gonna say, "Who's this Japanese dude?" "Oh, he's a boxer." And then they may go look him up, and then they may say, "Oh, let's go watch him." Who knows? But I think they've done as good as they can. How many fights have I seen for Inoue live and in person? This is my second one. I haven't seen him fight live and in person too much because the first two times he came here to the States, the first three times I should say, the first three times he came to the States. So when he fought Antonio Nieves, I was living in Florida. And back in those days, my channel was very small. I couldn't get credentials to go to fights like that. So that didn't happen. When he fought, who did he fight after that? When he fought Maloney, that was during COVID. I wasn't getting credentials like that back then. And then when he fought Michael Dasmarinas, that was down here in Vegas at the Virgin Hotel. I wasn't even in Vegas. I was actually in Houston with Angelo Leo because Angelo Leo fought Aaron Alameda that night, and I was with Angelo. And the crazy thing is, I remember after Angelo won it was a very tough fight against Aaron Alameda. I think that was probably the hardest fight of his career. He was really weight drained, but he still got the job done. On his worst night, he still won. But I remember after the fight was done, we were in Houston and we went to a bar, and I was eating with Angelo, and we watched Inoue versus Michael Dasmarinas. So yeah, all three times it just never lined up. So this is my second time ever watching Inoue fight live, and it's my second time watching him fight this year. And I'm gonna be the only person in America that was in Japan for Yi Jun Kim, and then now here for the Cardenas fight. So I'll tell you this, man. If he fights one more time this year, I might try to go to that too, as long as it's not in Saudi, because I can't go to Saudi because I've said too much. But other than that, if it's in America or like England, I might try to go to that, just so I can say I went to every Inoue fight in 2025. Apollo says, do you think the pay-per-view, since Turkey has come on the scene, has exposed these promoters with having such affordable prices? Has it exposed anything? Has it exposed promoters? I don't know if it's exposed promoters. I think like you got to understand with Turkey, right? And Turkey is not operating from the same place as a lot of promoters. Promoters, like we'll say Matchroom Boxing, right? Like Eddie Hearn, his dad was in the business, but pretty much all the promoters, they get bankrolled a lot of money from the networks. So the networks really are the ones that dictate things through the promoters. That's why you sign with the promoters so you can get to the network, right? Turkey doesn't need that because Turkey's being funded by Saudi and the government over there, so it's different. Has it exposed anything? I mean, not really. I don't think so. I don't understand why Turkey's putting fights on pay-per-view. I'm not mad that they're affordable. It's good that they're affordable, but let me ask you guys this question. If a fighter has never been on pay-per-view in America, right? Ever, like let's just say if it's a British fighter who's never been on pay-per-view in America, and then you start charging pay-per-view for that, it's kind of like, in my opinion, it's counterproductive. Like it's counterproductive. So, yeah, man, like Turkey's been losing money, but again, they don't care about losing money, but they will care about losing money if they're not getting all the events to their country, because it's all about advertising Saudi. That's what all that's really about, And Sean, by the way, I don't know if Sean's still here, but Sean, I'm looking forward to that very informative video you're gonna drop. I'm not gonna say what it is, but y'all stay tuned to Sean's Tell's channel. He's got a very, very interesting video coming out. The UK has better pay-per-view prices. I mean, they do. They have better pay-per-view prices than America, but the British fans complain about it. Like they complain about pay-per-view prices too. I think it's all relative. It's all relative to like inflation and the economy and things like that. So whatever it costs there is probably like close to or equivalent of what it may cost here. But yeah, either way, like I actually think, and I don't want to start talking about this out loud here in the media room because you don't know when people start coming who's going to be here, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm cool, but I'm saying, like, I don't think it's good to have pay-per-view, so many fights to pay-per-view. I think Riyadh season in Turkey have added more confusion to boxing and more division than ever, in my opinion. There's always been division, it's always been fragmented, but I think there's going to be more fragmentation. Inoue's only got the brand sponsorship by Riyadh. Why would he be anywhere else? Why would it be anywhere else but his trunks? I don't know what you mean by that question, Kyoto. I just know they're paying him a shitload of money to put the patch on there, so that's why. Quiet as kept, we get Divino too. Bad boy, he might very well give Inoue his hands for 126, but I'm happy Inoue is deciding to stick to around at 122 for Nakatani. Very happy about that. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy that the Japanese boxing fans are going to get what they deserve and get the fight, because I got a special place in my heart for the Japanese people and boxing fans. They've changed my life, But I mean, I'm happy about it, but I wouldn't say it. You guys know what fight I want to see most, but that's more for personal bias and personal reasons. But I mean, that's a great fight. That's going to be a legacy fight. Nakatani Inoue at the Tokyo Dome is the stuff they make movies about. They stuff they write or they produce documentaries of. So yeah, I mean, and it's a great stylistic fight. It's an amazing stylistic fight. You got Inoue, who's been one of boxing's apex predators for a long, long time. Great boxer, puncher, versus Junta Nakatani, a guy that you could also classify as a tall, lanky, rangy, apex predator in his own right. A fighter that, yes, he's Japanese. He comes with the regimented, disciplined skills that Japanese fighters tend to have. Straight punches, fundamentally sound, technical, by the book. But he's not rigid, because the problem that Japanese fighters have is that sometimes they can be too by the book. Sometimes they can be too rigid, right? So Junto's not like that. Junto, he's been training with Rudy Hernandez. He can fight on the inside. He can fight mid-range. So there's going to be more things for Inoue to have to work out when they fight. than most opponents he's fought. Because if you look at like, let's just say Cardenas, right? Cardenas, credible fighter, but Cardenas, he has a good left hook. He likes to fight with his lead hand down low. Defense can be a bit leaky at times. Yeah, like he likes to operate at a range where he can land that left hook. And he's not like the fastest guy in the world, so he has to be at the perfect range to do it, right? And he doesn't have the mobility or the range or the frame of a Junto, so there's not as much to work out. If you to do the same thing for Yi Jun Kim, very limited compared to like Junto. Junto, I would say, especially now, been firing on all cylinders. By the time they fight, and even if they fought now, I would say that he's the best fighter that Inoue has fought in his career. I would even say slightly better than Stephen Fulton, because when Inoue fought Stephen Fulton, and Stephen Fulton's a damn good fighter. Don't get it twisted. Stephen Fulton is an amazing fighter, and I don't want to ever like sound like I'm demeaning him, because I'm not. He's a great fighter. He's a fantastic fighter. But Stephen Fulton, he wasn't as active going into that fight as, let's say, Junto is. Junto's fighting like every 3 months. He's been fighting at a good pace. Fulton kind of got screwed because he was waiting for Merge on, and Merge on didn't want to fight him. So then it was a whole thing. John says Angelo, if he keeps winning, will eventually get the Inoue fight. Yeah, man. This May 24th fight with Kameda, which I'm very excited about. Very, very excited about. Who knows, man? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows the future holds? God willing, who knows? Maybe things change, and I might find myself at the fight. You just don't know what the future holds here on True School Sports. But yeah, that to me, that's one of the best fights in boxing. And I think if he goes in there and he does what I know he'll do, oh man, that fight's gonna get called for out there in Japan. So I'm excited about it. But for now, we'll just focus on Inoue versus Cardenas, because that's what we're here for. It's a shame. Angelo's last fight was August of last year. Inactivity is not good. I want to tell you guys this, man, because I can't speak for a lot. I can't speak for a lot of fighters. I don't know them, and I'm not privy to like things that happen with them. But I can talk about Angelo, and I'm not gonna get too deep into it. But like, man, it's not even his fault. It's not his fault. It's all down to Kameda. They've been playing a lot of games, and it's okay. It's okay. It's gonna get evened up real quickly when they fight. It's like, and Angelo will get the last lap. But yeah, a lot of games been being played by them, and that's why the fights keep getting pushed back. First it was supposed to be in February 11th, then it was supposed to be in, I think it was March or April. Now it's supposed to be May 24th. Promotion, there's been virtually no promotion at all for it from the Top Rank or Kameda side of things. It's just hasn't been his fault. I think in a sense, even though he's champion, he hasn't been treated like a champion, and the powers that be, they're not really like they're not promoting him, and it is what it is. It happens in boxing, Only thing the fighter can control is going in the ring and making people have to pay attention to him. So we'll see. What round is Cardenas going down? That's a good question. That's a great question. Cardenas? I've seen a lot of people say 3 rounds. I think it'll go 7. I'll say 7. Shout out to my main man, Steven Rodriguez, one of the amateur boxing coaches in South Florida. Well, I can't even say amateur now because he got a pro, Andrew Lawson. Shout out to Steve and Andrew Lawson. And by the way, I ain't been to South Florida in over a year now. I miss South Florida, but I'm still a South Florida boy at heart. Dania Beach, Broward County, South Florida, stand up. Dade County as well. Homestead, stand up. Shout out to all people back in South Florida, man. Yeah, with the Kameda family, you could expect the unexpected. Like when I was in Japan, right, and their name, like whenever they would come up, and I would ask people, it's like, hey, what do you think about the Kamedas? All I got was negativity from people. I think if Espinoza moves up or loses after May, next year Leo could be next. Be next for who? Espinoza or Inoue? No PPB for Inoue so far in his career really helps his star power building strategy. You think he'll be the first star of boxing that arrived without pay-per-view? Things happen when Japan is flipping bills. I wouldn't say he's the first fight. I mean, back in like the '80s and back in America when boxing was like a mainstream sport, boxing was on network television. In the '70s as well, it was on network television. So you didn't need cable, you didn't need closed circuit television, you didn't need pay per view. If you had a TV with an antenna, you got the fight. You got to watch Muhammad Ali versus you got to watch Muhammad Ali versus what's his name? Like George Foreman or Sonny Liston or whoever the case may be. So that being said, he ain't the first, but I would say in the modern era where we have so much pay-per-views and an oversaturation of pay-per-views, he definitely is unique in that right because with him being Japanese, they probably did ever think pay-per-view to be an option for him, right? So now, he's built up a fan base in America on accident, I think, because a lot of people like myself have stayed up for years to watch him fight, waking up early in the morning. Let's see, 10:22. All right, so it's 10:22 right now, guys. It's 10:22. So I'm gonna end this live around like 11:10 ish, maybe 11. So what is that? That's like 22, 38 minutes. So yeah, we'll go like 38 more minutes and then we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up. But we here, man. It's your boy BT. Let me walk around because I know some of y'all didn't get the, I know y'all didn't get the tour because we got more viewers here now. But look, I'm here. There's nobody in the media room right now. It's just your boy BT. But there you go. Inoue Cardenas. It's kind of empty right now. It's not kind of. It is very empty. But it won't be in a couple hours. It won't be. I wonder if to the Japanese out there, do you guys think? I know Hideki Ohashi will be there. Hideki Ohashi will be here. Do you think Mr. Honda shows up? Will he be here? You think so? My man Steven says the Panthers close out the series against Tampa. Another win closer to going back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Hope all is well, fam. Always appreciate the work for you in the sport of boxing, especially in Florida. Yes, yes. Shout out to the Florida Panthers, Steven. We're going back-to-back, and it's going to be easy. We're not going to lose more than 4 playoff games. We're not losing more than 4 games in the entire playoffs. Going to run through everyone. And then, yeah, shout out to you in South Florida. I definitely miss South Florida. I heard Daniel Bailey. I heard Daniel Bailey might be fighting. What's that kid's name? Manny Correa. They're gonna fight soon, and that's a rivalry fight in South Florida. So who knows, man? If I'm around, I might come through because Bailey's my guy, and that's a fun fight. What do you think about Reito Tsutsumi fighting in the Ring Magazine card? Reito's a really good fighter. Top prospect, elite amateur, blue chip talent. Reito is being moved differently than a lot of Japanese fighters because Reito is already someone that like he's making his pro debut in America. They had him here. They had him here in Vegas for WrestleMania, and while he was here in Vegas for WrestleMania, Turkey's giving him he's whining and dining him. Turkey likes him a lot, so I think he may try to build himself in the States early because he even spoke some English. Like I saw a clip on Ring Magazine where he was speaking some English, and it's not a lot of Japanese fighters I've seen even try to speak English. So that's indicated to me that he's going to try to come to the States. But really good fighter. I would say to me he's like the Shakur Stevenson of Japan, in the sense of like understanding distance. Shakur Stevenson is very good at understanding distance. Reito is probably, to me, amongst the Japanese fighters, probably at such a young age, he might already be the best at understanding his distance. I watched a lot of film on Reito, and I watched this one fight he had in the AIBA World Championships where basically he threw a punch, the guy countered him, he made the guy miss. Like he led the exchange, the guy tried to counter him, he slipped, and then he countered back. And so just to have those kind of instincts, not a lot of fighters can do that. Most exchanges aren't even like that in boxing. Like normally, a fighter will throw a punch and then the other fighter will counter, and that's just it. But no. He threw the first punch. He led the exchange. The guy missed. The opponent attempted to counter, and then he slipped and then countered back. So it's only a handful of fighters that even have the IQ or the instincts to lead an exchange and then counter the counter puncher. It's only a handful. Only the really, 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 really sharpest of the sharp can even attempt to do that and then actually do it successfully. And I saw that in one of his fights, and that really was like an eye opener to me. I think he's got a higher ceiling than his brother Hayato. Hayato Tsutsumi, I'm a big fan of him. He's great. Like I think he'll be a world champion at 130. But Reito, his boxing IQ is on a higher level than even Hayato, and Hayato's very good. Honda is not Inoue's promoter, right? No, so I'm gonna explain to you guys the way it's been explained to me from one of my friends in Japan who used to fight, who was a professional fighter. The way it's been explained to me is that in Japan, for promoters and things like that, you have there's no federal law in Japan. There's no Muhammad Ali Act. So in Japan, your gym is your promoter. So for example, if you're a Hashi fighter, if you're a Hashi fighter, that's your gym and that's your promoter. If you're with Tekken, that's your gym and that's your promoter. If you're with Hajiochi Nakaya boxing gym like Jin Sasaki is, that's your gym and that's your promoter. If you're with Lions boxing gym, that's your gym and that's your promoter, right? So it's not like that in America, right? So the way it's been explained to me is that it doesn't matter what gym you train out of, right? So you could train at, let's say you train at, I'll use an example, right? I'll use Seigo Yuri Ikui, right? Because Seigo Yuri Ikui, he trains out like way out in West Japan, far from Tokyo. He's nowhere even near the gyms that run Japanese boxing. He trains at a gym called Kurashiki Moriyasu Boxing Gym. That's the name of his gym. But and that's his promoter as well. But when you're a Japanese fighter and when you want to box and you have those ambitions to box foreigners or box on an international stage, everything has to go through Mr. Honda. So domestically, your gym will handle things in Japan. But once you start boxing abroad or boxing in world title fights where there's international TV involved, you have to still go through Mr. Honda, even if you're not a Tekken Promotions fighter. So I'll put it to you like that. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Miyagi, with the 10 pound super chat. Thank you so much for your support, man. What's up, BT? I enjoy your content. What are your thoughts on the full Inoue card? Now, I don't got the bout sheet in front of me, so if y'all can tell me all the fights, because I know I'm gonna miss some of the fights. I can't remember them all. But as far as the whole card, I mean, I don't think it's the greatest card I've ever been to, but I think there's some good matchups. Like you know who I like? You know what fight I like? I'll tell you what fight I like on this card that I haven't talked about yet. I like the Rohan Polanco Fabian Maidana fight because Rohan Polanco is one of these fighters that he was never a guy that like I ever planned to like talk about or anything like that. But see, every time I see Rohan Polanco fight, he's putting in those performances that he's putting on these kind of performances that are making me have to remember him. They're making me have to like pay attention to him. And now he's on the world level. He's ranked, and he's fighting Fabian Maidana. Decent, tough Argentinian gatekeeper. But Fabian Maidana, he just fought Mario Barros last year and took him the distance. So if Rohan Polanco were to stop Maidana, who's never been stopped, he has 4 losses, he's never been stopped. If he stops him, to me, that's a statement, and that lends credence to the fact that Rohan Polanco has punching power and that he should be taken seriously as a top upper echelon contender. So I like him. He's cool. Mikita Nakano, featherweight from Japan. I'm looking forward to seeing him fight. I saw him fight actually when I was in Japan last time. So funny enough, I was at Inoue's last fight when he fought at Ariake Arena. I'm here in Vegas. I was at Mikita Nakano's fight a couple months ago at Corkin Hall. Now I'm here in Vegas. So it's something. It's cool. I think it's cool. See me no more MMA says, yo, BT, I'm just tuning in. Have you already touched on the Ryan versus Rolly card? I haven't. I mean, I made videos about it, but I haven't really touched on it too deeply on the live. I don't. I'm not really like that. It's a good card, but there's not any fights that I'm like over the moon about. There's good fights, but I can't say it's like a fight that I'm waking up and I'm just like over the moon about it. But I mean, Tio Barbosa is a good fight. It's a chance for Arnold to show that he's on that top level, fighting the lineal champion. Tio has that. Tio very inconsistent. So we'll see what he does. He does struggle with boxers and movers at times. Barbosa can box and move, but he's been a bit hot-headed coming into this fight. So maybe he comes and exchanges a bit more than he normally does. Who knows what he does? But that's probably the best fight on the card to me. Ryan and Rolly. If Rolly lets his hands go, and Rolly actually be physical with Ryan, I think he could do something with Ryan because I think in terms of physical strength, he is the physically stronger guy. But Rolly has leaky defense, and Rolly I think at range, Ryan will pick him apart. But that's a cool fight. I mean, and then Devin Haney or Ramirez, I'm not big on Jose, and I've never really been that big on Devin. He's a good fighter, but I've never really been that big on him. So it's a good card with a lot of big names, so the fans will enjoy it. But it's not like a fight where I'm over the moon about it. It's not a card where I'm over the moon about it. But it's cool. Like I can't hate. Man, he says, what do he say? I didn't know about this. Interesting. Thanks for explaining, BT. Yeah, somebody had to explain it to me 2 or 3 times because it was like my American brain was like, wait a second, but don't your gym can't be your promoter. But I had to let go of that. Congrats on your Panthers advance to the next round. Sadly, I'm gonna have to root for one of the Canadian teams as another Canadian. Well, hey man, do what you gotta do, but you ain't gonna have a great time. more than likely you won't, because the Panthers are pretty damn good. Do I think Ramon will go all out? Do I think Ramon Cardenas will go all out? I mean, shit. I'll tell you like this, man. From what I've heard about him, I mean, he's one of these guys that early in his career he wasn't getting a lot of investment, and he was taking fights for free, and now you're telling me he's fighting here in Las Vegas. He's gonna be on ESPN in prime time fighting for the undisputed title. If he don't give it his all now, when the hell is he ever gonna give it his all? I will say yes. Out of respect to him, and I'm gonna say yes. He should give it his all. If you don't give it his all, then what's the point? What's the point? If you get to this level, if you got you like, I know boxing fans know that boxing's a hard sport, but I really don't think you guys understand how hard it is to even get to this level. Forget winning the fight, just getting to this level is hard. I see it. I know a lot of fighters. I know not just Angelo, but I mean I know fighters at all levels, prospects, contenders, gatekeepers. It's hard. It's hard. So to get to this level and not give it your effort, it'll haunt you for the rest of your life. So I'm gonna say yes. He'll give his best efforts. Whatever that is, we'll see how the monster deals with it. I think for Inoue in the fight, the main punch he's gonna have to take away from Cardenas just because he can. I wouldn't say he's not like an A+ puncher or an A puncher, but he's got respectable power. I think his left hook is probably his best punch. Like most Mexicans and most Mexican Americans, you come out the womb throwing a left hook. You come out the womb throwing left hooks when you're a Mexican American fighter. So, he's no different. But in a way, he's gonna have to take that punch from him away. Don't allow him to go ahead and, punch her on the guard. Because if I'll tell you this, I don't care what the odds say. If he's able to get in range and land that punch on Inoue, I think that's where, now it would become a closer fight. But Inoue has an advantage in speed. He has the advantage in footwork. He has the advantage in experience. He has the advantages in even finishing. So, on paper, it looks like what it is. It's a showcase fight against a good, solid professional fighter to build him up here in America. But again, Cardenas is a man. He's prideful. I'm sure he's gonna fight the fight of his life, and whatever that looks like, we'll see if it's enough. Sean says, "Go Panthers." That's right. Go Panthers, Sean. The dynasty. I told you, the dynasty is coming, man. We're starting to peak now at the right time, so I'm excited. What's up with Tension Nasukawa? Is he fighting for the title next? Is he fighting for a title? That's a great question. I don't know if Tension's fighting for a title. I don't think he's fighting for a title because he was ranked #1 for Junto's WBC title. Junto's not fighting him. Junto's fighting an unification fight. And then the thing is, if Junto wins as expected, I'm not sure if Junto. I think now personally, this is just me thinking out loud here. If they want to make the Inoue Nakatani fight as big as possible, I think Junto should fight Nishida, right? He's got to beat Nishida, and Nishida's a good fighter. If he beats Nishida to become a unified champion, I think after that he should fight Tenshin because Tenshin is a megastar in Japan. Very big. Like, I know Inoue is a big star, but I don't. To the people that don't understand, that only know Tenshin as the guy that fought Floyd. Let me tell you guys something. Inoue fought Neri last year in May at the Tokyo Dome. He just sold out the Tokyo Dome in May. When Tenshin was doing kickboxing, even before he fought Floyd, when Tenshin was doing kickboxing, he was selling out the Tokyo Dome in 2022. He was selling out the Tokyo Dome before Inoue sold out the Tokyo Dome. So he's a star. People know him. When I was in Japan, people were talking about Tenshin. They knew him. They knew who he was. So I think if Junto can fight him, beat him, that would make if Junto goes Nishida, Tenshin into the Inoue fight will be massive. Fight's already massive, but fight will be even more massive. So I don't know. I don't know if he'll fight for a title. But anyway, let me address this super chat because my man, Mr. Miyagi, this live has been sponsored by my main man, Mr. Miyagi, with the 50 euro super chat. He says, or 50 pounds. He says, this is the full card. Inoue versus Cardenas, Espinoza versus Vasquez, Juan Polanco versus Maidana, Emiliano Vargas versus Leon, okay, Makita Nakano versus Pedro Marquez, Harper Jr. versus Juan Carlos Guerrera, Rhyse Alim versus good. You know what? I'll start with Rhyse Alim. I'll start Rhyse. I don't know much about Patrick O'Connor and Marcus Smith, so I'll have to do my homework over the weekend. I'll have to do my homework tonight, but I'll start with the Rhyse Alim fight, and I'll work my way up, all right? So I'll start like this. So with Rhyse was once one of the top contenders at 122. This was a guy in Rhyse that was in position to fight Stephen Fulton around the time when Stephen Fulton wasn't getting the Merjan fight, and Rhyse Alim feels very strongly that Stephen Fulton ducked him, right? Rhyse Alim, I also know, has sparred a gang of rounds with Angelo Leo, and they know each other pretty well. And Rhyse Alim, he was moving pretty well. He had beat who did he beat? He beat a Filipino. He beat Mike Planilla. He beat Mike Planilla on the undercard of Andy Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz because I was there. And then he went to Australia. He fought Sam Goodman. He lost to Sam Goodman, right? Then he was on the shelf for a little bit. He didn't fight. Now he's back, and now he moved up a weight class. He's at featherweight. So the featherweight division, another good addition with him, Rhyse Alim. Rudy Garcia. Now I haven't been following Rudy Garcia closely, but I know who he is because I covered. Rudy Garcia fought on the undercard of Zoro Ramirez versus Uniesky Gonzalez, and I was there. And he fought Victor Morales Jr., who was a Golden Boy prospect. And Rudy, from what I remember about him, maybe he got better, but from what I remember about Rudy is a high volume puncher. He don't really got a lot of power. I'm pretty sure if you go look at his knockout ratio, it's probably not that high. But he comes to fight. And so I think that fight will be a phone booth fight. I think that'll be a fight where you see both guys fighting in the pocket. If my memory is correct about Rudy, which I'm pretty sure it is, and what I remember about Rhyse Alim, you got two aggressive, front foot dominant, come forward, volume punchers that I think are going to go fight each other in the pocket. So that's a good fight. That's probably to answer the question from earlier, that's probably the fight that not anybody in boxing is going to talk about the whole weekend, and that might wind up being like really, really good. So I like that fight a lot. As far as Art Pereira Jr., now, I looked at the record of the guy he was fighting. Art Pereira Jr., he's a Robert Garcia prospect, and Robert Garcia, he's, got a good working relationship with Top Rank. Art Pereira is probably one of the most hyped up prospects coming out of the RGBA Academy, so I'm excited to see him. I've seen him fight here and there, but I'm excited to get a look at him. You got Makita Nakano, which I mentioned. I love Makita Nakano. All-action fighter, comes to fight. Emiliano Vargas, he's fighting another stay busy fight. I'm waiting for him to step up to a real fight. He's in that prospect stage still, but he's been talking a lot. I like Emmy. He's a good kid, but he's been talking a lot about Keyshawn Davis and how Keyshawn Davis don't make no money compared to him, and he makes more money in sponsorship. So this next year, so I want to see him get involved in a big fight, and then so he'll probably win his fight. And then I already talked about Polanco, Espinoza, Vasquez, Cardenas Inoue. So yeah, I would say the fight to watch on the undercard. If you're looking for a fight that no one's talking about that could wind up being really, really good and entertaining, I would go with Rhyse Alim and Rudy Garcia just because they both come to fight. They're both front foot dominant volume punchers. Do you think Turkey and Saudi will offer to pay Inoue and Junto to fight at the Japan National Olympic Stadium? Wow. I never even considered that. I'm not even sure I've even seen what the Japan National Olympic Stadium looks like. They have the money to do it, but I think for me personally, in the name of aesthetics, in the name of great venues and doing things right and keeping traditions alive, they should do it at the Tokyo Dome. But why not? Why not? Alim is getting back in the ring. Well, Rhyse Alim, he had a stay busy fight. So he's fought at featherweight once already. He had a stay busy fight to kind of get acclimated to featherweight. And now I believe this is his second fight at featherweight because he fought a couple months ago. Nazakawa stood up to Rod Tang years ago. Muay Thai and kickboxing is huge in Asia. It is, and that's where he got his stardom from. By the way, shout out to Pops. Good to see you, Pops. We here, man. We here. Look, for those of you who are just tuning in, like the media room is still empty. Your boy BT is still the only one here. Ain't nobody else here but me. So we're coming here. Listen, I've pushed myself very hard during these Vegas fight weeks. I've gotten a lot of good experience over the last couple of years because I've been covering boxing for a while, but it wasn't until like probably 2023 when I covered Tank Ryan where I could say, okay, now I'm in the big times. I'm covering the big time boxing. So, I've covered Ryan Tank, I've covered Frank Martin Tank, I've covered Canelo Berlanga. What else did I cover? I think this is my fourth or fifth like big time Vegas fight as far as like T-Mobile or MGM. And I'm gonna push myself harder for this one than all the other ones because, this is the number one source for Japanese boxing in America, so I gotta go ahead and live up to that. I'm getting the chance to cover Inoue in the States. I just covered him in Japan. I gotta live up to that. So we're here. And hopefully you guys enjoy it all. Shout out to my man Alex. What up? Good to see you, champ. BT, will Bruno Saras win again? No, I don't think he will, but shit, I didn't think he won the first time, so what do I know? I don't know if my man see me no more MMA is still here, but he said, do you think the Panthers versus Leaf is harder than Panthers versus Senators? I would say Panthers versus Senators is a little bit easier than Panthers versus Leafs, but I think they're both very, very favorable series. I think we're gonna destroy either team we play. Shade sort of says, do I want to see Inoue versus Casemiro? It's funny, all those years ago before the pandemic, that fight was supposed to happen here in Vegas, and it never came to fruition because of the pandemic. But not anymore. Not anymore. Casemiro is not really living the life of a professional fighter. Casemiro is someone that very much so is fat and out of shape, and Casemiro hasn't done anything of relevance, to actually get the fight, in my opinion. Now, this is 2019. If this is 2018, it was 2017, 2020. Shit, even 2021, if you want to stretch it out, I would have said, yeah, why not? But after about like 2021, and maybe even that's pushing it, nah, absolutely not. What are my thoughts on Anthony Kakachi versus Lee Wood? Who do I got? That's a good one. Anthony Kakachi's pretty crafty. It's an all-British fight. I would lean. Fuck, it's tough. That's actually a pick'em fight. I would say that one's a pick'em. I will go with I'll lean slightly towards Lee Wood just because I think Lee Wood has a bit more power and he can box. He showed you he can box, but Kakachi's very like slick and crafty, and he knows how to slip and slide and get in and out of the way of shots. So I would say that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a cool fight, but the fight I like, I'll tell you guys the fight I like. I like the fight between Masanori Rikishi and Eduardo Sugar Nunez. That is the fight to watch out for, That's the fight to watch out for sure. Nunez can punch like crazy. He's probably the hardest hitting Mexican fighter in boxing today. Masanori Rikishi, skillful southpaw. Don't got the greatest defense, but, skillful and hard punching southpaw. That is the underdog, but the crazy thing is, like, with Japanese boxers right now, they just seem to be on a hot streak, right? So we'll see how it goes. But I like that fight a lot. He said, yeah, and I heard Casemiro was banned in Japan for failing to make the weight. Not sure for how long. Yeah, I'm not sure if they had, because I know for their own fighters. I know in Japan for their own fighters, you miss weight, it's a 1-year ban. But it might be even more harsh on the foreign fighters. How do you think this first Inoue major Vegas show will affect Japanese boxing in the long term? Inoue's promoter now have connections, numbers to Vegas, and major businessmen now. Well, to address the last part of your comment, the boxing world is very small, and everyone has always had those numbers to Vegas. Mr. Honda has always had connections to Vegas and those kind of things. Ohashi has always had connections to Vegas and those kind of things. The boxing world is very small. When you're operating at that level, when you're the biggest promoters in Japan or the biggest promoters in America or you're the biggest promoters in a country, people will know people. So let me just kind of kindly correct you there. As far as the what it will do for Japanese boxing long term, look, I'll tell you guys what I know. When I was in Japan and I would go to the gyms, all I saw were kids. I saw so many kids signing up for boxing, and I was told by gym owners across the country of Japan that Naoya Inoue has inspired a whole generation. So it for the Japanese kids and aspiring Japanese fighters right now that are already pro, they're gonna look at now. They can look at Inoue as a guy who literally had his poster plastered on the MGM Grand. He's headlining the T-Mobile Arena. He's fighting in prime time American television. I mean, let me ask you, would that inspire you? Because even just me saying it, I get inspired. Can Kakashi fight the winner under the clause of the champion in recess? I'm not sure what he can or can't do. I'll be honest, like I haven't like paid that much attention to that fight. That's not one of the fights on the schedule that I care a ton about. What are they fighting for? Because I know if my memory serves me correct, they were both at one point in time mandatory. I know Wood was the WBA champion. I know Otabek Komatov was his WBA mandatory. He ducked Otabek Komatov. He avoided that fight and went up to the next weight class. Went up to 130. Kakashi was mandatory was Eduardo Sugar Nunez. He moved up to 130. So they both avoided some high risk, low reward guys to get to this point. What title are they fighting for? Is it the IBF? I feel like Eddie really messes up fighters' careers. Eduardo Sugar Nunez should have really been pushed more. Eddie might have had a fighter that gets matched into the Mexican market. Yeah, man, that's what I don't understand. It's like he's got a Mexican knockout artist, not volume puncher, not technical fighter. No, knockout puncher, bricks, excitement. I don't understand why he hasn't been pushed more. And the crazy thing is, the only time I hear Eddie Hearn mention Eduardo Sugar Nunez was when he talked about Raymond Ford fighting him. I'm like, man, it took Raymond Ford, like no disrespect to Raymond Ford, but I'm saying it took Raymond Ford for you to mention Eduardo Sugar Nunez. Why couldn't you mention him before that? Like the dude's an exciting fighter. He's Mexican. The Mexican market is massive in boxing. You get that market on your side, you do big things. So I feel like they dropped the ball on that one. But that's just me. What do I know? I just have a YouTube channel. They're fighting for the IBO super featherweight title. Okay, so I mean that's not. It's a title, and I think in the future that the IBO title will be a recognized sanctioning body, but it's not right now. So I won't really pay that too much mind. Maybe by winning that title, that would get them potentially a shot at one of the other titles. Because I think it's the WBO has a bit of like one of the sanctioning bodies. I can't remember which one, but one of the sanctioning bodies has like a relationship with the IBO. So we'll see. But I don't put too much stock into it. If I'm being like 100% honest. But yeah, it's your boy BT, the untouchable True School Sports. Listen, I'm gonna go for 90 minutes, so I'm gonna be here for about 15 more minutes, guys. So get your questions in, because in 15 minutes I'm gonna end this live and then charge my phone and start getting ready to get you guys that world class content. We waited a long time for this, so. Afro says that he's saying the winner. I'm saying could he fight the Rikishi versus Nunez winner as the champion in recess? Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't see why not. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Lee Wood and Anthony Kakashi, aren't they with Eddie Hearn? So, I mean, I don't know about Rikishi. It may complicate things if Rikishi wins because he's promoted by I think Ohashi and Mr. Honda. So if Sugar Nunez comes through that, there's no reason why the winner of that fight couldn't fight Sugar Nunez if Sugar Nunez beats Rikishi. Like what Badu, Jack, and McCown. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know Nunez and Rikishi are fighting for the IBF because that's a fight that like I got on my boxing calendar right now, not including this fight because I'm already here, but I'm saying for upcoming fights, I got 3 fights circled on my calendar. I got Angelo versus Kameda, I got Norman versus Sasaki, and then I got Nunez versus Rikishi. Naio Rashid says, "Do I think that Inoue deserves pound for pound #1 if he wins the upcoming fights against MJ, Ball, and Nakatani? If the other 2 fights that you mentioned before that are good wins, but if he gets that third one, because Nakatani is a pound for pound fighter, he's on the pound for pound list, and he's one of the most dominant fighters in any weight class in boxing. So if he wins that fight, that's going to strengthen his case to the highest degree. Now, hopefully, the only thing that could derail those plans is, of course, if Junto fights Ryosuke Nishida in Japan, because he's fighting the IBF champion Nishida. And Nishida's a good fighter. Like, Nishida doesn't punch as hard as Junto, and he doesn't. If you go look at his record, I think he only has like 2 knockouts. But when you watch him fight, he can clearly punch, and he's probably one of the only guys at bantamweight that has the size to match him. So look, they could throw a wrench into all the plans of Inoue Nakatani if Nishida wins. But yeah, if Inoue beats Nakatani, why not? Why not? Truth be told, I think there's so many guys right now that you can make a case for being on the pound for pound list. Like, my pound for pound #1 right now is Usyk. I got Usyk 1, and then I got Usyk 1. I have Inoue 2, and then I have Bivol 3. I have Dimitri Bivol as my number 3 pound for pound fighter because Bivol has the best wins in boxing on his resume. Bivol's beaten Canelo, and he's beaten Beterbiev. Who the hell in boxing? You guys tell me, who the hell in boxing has 2 wins of that magnitude on the resume? I can't think of any. Canelo and Beterbiev. And then then he's got the guys like Jean Pascal. He got Zordo Ramirez, who's now a cruiserweight champion. I mean, come on. He's got crazy resume. Defended his belt a bunch of times. Been one of the best defensive fighters in boxing for years upon years now. I mean, Dimitri Bivol definitely deserves to be in the top 3. Can you ask in a way, did you ever, for a single second, think he could headline a Vegas fight like this? Why not? I could ask him that. I mean, I'm sure someone else is going to ask him that question. That's like a standard question. Bam versus Kafu and Ioka versus Puma 2, winner takes all. I hope so, man. I hope that they just get to it. Bam versus Kafu was a fight. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to that fight, but I want to go to that fight because it's in Texas, and I got a lot of friends in Texas that I haven't seen in a while. I love Texas. Texas for a moment in time was like a second home to me. I haven't gone to Texas in 3 years, and the city they're fighting in, Frisco, that's my favorite city in Texas. So I'd like to go just for that. But Kafu Bam is a really good fight. Kafu, it's crazy because 4 months ago, Kafu was being talked about as fighting Chocolatito Romo Gonzalez, and Romo Gonzalez didn't get the fight. So is Romo Gonzalez going to retire? Because I don't know, man. All I kept hearing from one of the guys that I know that's close with him was Kafu. But he's not fighting Kafu now. Bam got the fight, so it's crazy how boxing works. My dad says that Sean Tatel's fire exposing the Saudi government and the USA CIA connecting many dots related to Turkey. That's crazy. Listen, I ain't checked that out yet, but Sean did call me yesterday and he told me about this video, so I'm definitely excited. In about 10 minutes, I'm gonna get off here and charge my phone and watch that. But yeah, man, I mean, listen, I've told y'all for a long time, and Sean has even told y'all too as well, more than me, that the whole thing with Turkey is deeper than just boxing, And then people would get mad at Sean or myself because they would say, BT, at least you get in the fights. At least you get in the fights. At least you get in the fights. But it's deeper than the fights, and it's gonna get to a point soon where you guys aren't really gonna get the fights, But listen, I don't want to talk about that. I'm in a positive mood. I'm here in Vegas. I'm covering in a way that we could say that for another live. Wrong Versailles, Cholatito, and Estrada must be waiting for Saudi bread. The man needs to call it quits. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Wrong Versailles just lost a fight recently. He was out there in Thailand. He lost some guy in Thailand recently. Strada, he's been having babies left and right. So I don't, he was checked out of boxing after the third Roman Gonzalez fight, and then Roman Gonzalez, I don't know, man. For me, I feel like, look, if you're gonna fight one last fight, you should do it big. You should try to fight a bantamweight and become a 5 division champion. Go for the gusto, because there's only been like Mayweather, Pacquiao, Hearns, De La Hoya, and I think Leonard. It's only been like five 5 division champions. He'd be the 6th. That would put him in like whole other stratosphere. That's worth getting up for, Or he could fight a can in Nicaragua and just call it quits. But Alex says, too short, who cares? Keep the fights coming. That's something that BT needs to understand. For as long as boxing, someone always comes in and goes in boxing. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it too. I didn't say I wasn't enjoying the fights. You guys, a lot of people get me misconstrued. They think that because I'm just telling y'all what's going on, that I'm not enjoying some of these fights. I've enjoyed plenty of the fights that they've made. It's just that I'm trying to warn you guys that it's not going to be like that way forever. And, you're going to see more division in boxing than ever. That's all I'm trying to tell you. So when you guys want certain fights and they don't happen, you're not sitting there saying, I don't understand why this fight's not happening. No, I'm telling you why it's not happening. I'm telling you X, Y, and Z of why it's not happening. David Jimenez versus Roman Gonzalez be a good fight. It would be a good fight, but like Roman Gonzalez is like what I'd be happy for Jimenez to get the opportunity, but what does Roman Gonzalez gain from that? Like, he's old, man. Go ahead and either hang it up or be in a massive legacy fight. Like, go try to become a 5 division champion. History says, here's my theory, BT. When Bam and Chocolatito spot, I think both came to a deal to fight each other. Then Choco gave Kafu to Bam. If Bam wins, they will fight. You think so? I don't want to see. I'm tired of that, bro. I like Bam is good, man. I like Bam, and I'm happy he's fighting Kafu. Good, that's amazing. But bro, I'm tired of seeing Bam fight old fighters, man. Like, good fighter. They're still good, but like they're not what they were. Like, I would like to see Bam. Can we get Bam versus Junto? Like, I know that's not like. I know it's business, right? I'm speaking from the perspective of a fan who just wants to see the best fights, right? I know Mr. Honda, it's probably not his best interest, but I'm just saying, can we at least like throw it? Can we start talking about it a bit more? Bam versus Junto, like that'd be a fight. That'd be like something like to really like get our appetite wet as boxing fans. I think. We want Ken Shiro versus Bam. Oh, of course. Shit. That's a fight I would like because Ken Shiro is a lot closer to his prime than, let's just say, Roman Gonzalez or Guile when he fought him, or Cuadras when he fought him, or Rungvisai when he fought him. Ken Shiro at this time of me shooting this is a pound for pound top 10 fighter. He's like, I think he's 10 on ring. On True School, he's number 7. So, yeah, that's and Bam, he's done a lot of great things in boxing, so I can't take nothing from Bam. I can't hate on Bam. But Bam has a Japanese promoter, right? And he fights in weight classes that have elite, big name Japanese fighters, but he ain't fought no elite Japanese fighters. Like, how? That's not an accident. Like, come on, man. Personally, though, I don't think he's going to fight Ken Shiro. I think Ken Shiro will do the Olas Kuwaga rematch before he does Bam. Easier fight to make. They fought already. It's in the same weight class. It's a unification fight. I think that's the route they're going to go. Thank you, Afro. You understand. You know boxing. He said, Ken Shiro has been in my pound for pound list for years. I don't care about Ring Magazine or boxing. Me too. I've said it for years. And I've been saying for probably like for the last at least 3 years when I do my videos. I keep saying in my videos that like every win he's getting is just getting him closer to the Hall of Fame. Like when he fought Heki Butler, I was saying that. When he fought Seigo Yurikui, I was saying that. When he fought, just all these guys he's been fighting. I've been saying that. I think he's one of the best fighters in the world, and he's been one of the best fighters in the world for a pretty good amount of time now. Maximiliano says, I hope Nishida wins over Nakatani for Inoue. Stop wasting his prime and time at 122 and go to 126. I'm glad you're saying it, man. I'm glad you're saying it because, I beat that like a dead horse for months here on the channel saying that I would like to see him at featherweight. And people were like, BT, you're just hating and you only want Inoue to fight, go to featherweight so he could fight your boy Angelo. And I'm like, yeah, it's a great fight. And you guys would find that out if they fought. But, I'm glad you said it. But listen, I'm not going to get into that. I'm here. We'll see what Cardenas can do. It's his chance. It's his chance to do something. It's Inoue's chance to showcase himself to the American public and audience, and we shall see. How are the ticket sales going for the Inoue card? I've heard all kinds of things. I don't really know. I'm gonna ask around though. Once we get some people here from Top Rank, I'll ask and see if I can figure something out, because I want to know for myself. I'm intrigued myself. Inoue is going to 126 no matter what, so it's not like he's wasting his time. If Junto wins or loses, he would have been moved up. Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for that time. Like, pretty much after the Neri fight, like, I obviously enjoy his fights because his fights are like a special occasion on this channel. But like, everything after Neri has been like, okay, cool. It hasn't been like, I haven't been excited for the fight just because of the fight. Like, I'm excited for this fight because I'm here and I want to see him fight live again. Same thing for Yi Jun Kim. I was in Japan. I saw him fight live there, but. That's a different type of excitement than, hey, he's fighting, when he fought Stephen Fulton or when he fought Donaire or when he fought even like Neri. Yeah, I'll tell you this. I never thought about that. If Junto has to lose, and I'm not saying I wish for him to lose, but I'm saying if he has to lose for Inoue to go to featherweight, then I'd be okay with it. Like, I want to see the fights at featherweight. Do you think Gary Anton Russell has to fight Andy Hiroka next rather than other pointless fights? I don't think he has to, because he just won the title. I don't think he has a mandatory due yet. Hiroka is like the regular champion because he beat Barroso. So he's like the de facto mandatory. I would love that fight. That's like one of the most explosive fights you can make in boxing. They're both Gary has like really fast hands, like to shoe shine with his punches a lot. Hiroka is like a sniper from the outside, and he's athletic as well. I think the styles would mesh very, very well. The WBA ordered the fight with Hiroka and Russell, but that doesn't mean they're going to fight next. I mean, fights get ordered all the time. Who got ordered? I think Tim Bradley back in the day. Was it Tim Bradley got ordered to fight? Who was it? Earl Spence or Amir Khan or something like that? He didn't fight him. I mean, there's been plenty of fights that get ordered that don't happen. Because if the champions, if Gary Anton Russell gets unification fight, let's say hypothetically, if he fights Tio, he can file an exemption, and then the fight gets pushed back in the queue, and then he'll have to fight Gary Antoine after the unification fight. But so there's ways around that. That doesn't mean the fight's happening. It just means that the sanctioning body is saying, hey, you should fight him right now. And then it's incumbent upon the fighter and his team to figure out what they feel is the best course of action for them. If they feel that the fight makes sense now and the value in the fight is good now, they take the fight. If not, then they file an exemption and they try to fight one of the other champions, and that's how it goes. That's the sport of boxing, and that's the business. Hiroka versus Richardson Hitchens. Who do you got? Ooh, it's a good fight. Hiroka versus Hitchens. I like that fight. I would say, the jab would be key in that fight. I would say I would leave. I would go with I would lean slightly towards. Fuck, it's hard. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I know a lot of people don't like Hitchens because they say he's boring and whatnot. But nah, man, Hitchens got one of the best jabs in boxing. Everyone talks about Devin Haney's jab. I think Hitchens got a way better jab than Devin Haney. I think Hitchens is in the running for one of the top 3 best jabs in the entire sport. He's only at where he's at because of his jab, because he's not a big puncher and his right hand is slightly above average, and he don't really got no inside fighting skills. So I would actually, like, by the skin of my teeth, lean towards Hitchens. And I know people are gonna say, what? How? Hiroka punches hard. He can box too, but nah, man. I'm telling you, Hitchens knows that lead hand. He knows how to use that hand. Like, he's mastered the jab. So, that'd be a good one. But listen, guys, on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up because I gotta charge my phone and I gotta start preparing for the grand arrivals. So I'll try to go live at least one more time before fight night. Maybe I'll do something with Sean. Who knows? But listen, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for keeping me some company and helping me killing some time while I'm here early. And stay tuned for all the content. There's gonna be a lot of content, and God willing, we get something with Inoue. I'm gonna give him that magazine and see see how he receives it, and that'll be that. But yeah, keep watching, man. I wouldn't be here without you guys. The people that supported this content, that support the Japanese content that I make. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from being it. So until next time, take care, guys.